Welcome to the Lifestyle Overland Story. I'm Kevin, this is my wife Sarah, 11-year-old daughter Caroline, 2-year-old Abigail, and our travel pup Ace. We've been exploring the wilderness of North America and beyond since 2014 in our fleet of overland rigs, including our latest build, this 2021 supercharged Tundra, which is perfect for towing our Sleep Inside Voyager trailer by Expedition Trailers. In this video, we're headed into the deserts of Utah and Nevada in search of some legendary hot springs to hopefully help us stay warm as we weather the last few days of winter. We've got a lot of ground to cover, so buckle up and ride along. In our last adventure series, we flew south and explored southern Arizona as a frigid Arctic blast with temps in the single digits pushed us nearly to the Mexican border in search of comfortable weather. Thankfully, things have warmed up a bit and allowed us to explore further north, but as you can see, we'll still have to stick to the lower elevations since these mountain passes are still getting hammered with fresh snow, which makes the trails impassable to anything without tracks. We're looking forward to returning to these mountains in a couple of months once things thaw and dry out. With a 2-year-old on board, we have to get creative with breaking up the drive, so a stop every hour or two to stretch our legs is key to keeping the peace.
Did you get some snacks?
Gas station snack stops are also a great distraction, so with fresh treats in hand, a fuel tank at full, and a fresh diaper, we were ready to dive into the desert for what we hoped would be a relaxing soak in a steaming hot spring to reward our efforts.
Good job. Are you being shy?
No.
Are you shy? All right, well, howdy, folks, and welcome to the West Desert of Utah. And it's still a bit nippy. We've had some snow, some moisture moving in and out. And so we're going to do a little bit of hot spring hopping, or at least do our best. Currently there's someone soaking in these pools, but we're going to wait it out and see if maybe we can get in line, go have a little soak, and explore this just gorgeous landscape. Are you freezing?
I've got a coat.
It's a little dramatic right now.
While we waited and hoped for the crowd to thin out in the soaking area, we hiked out to some of the source pools to see this geothermal oddity in the middle of the desert floor.
You see the fish?
Hi.
It looks really hot, doesn't it?
If you didn't know, hot springs are caused by geothermal activity far beneath the Earth's surface. In most cases, volcano activity causes fissures where groundwater can flow down to these superheated areas. Then as it warms, it rises back to the surface, bubbling up in the pools like you see here. Most of these sources are far too hot to soak directly in. By the way, this one's around 180 degrees. So trenches or pipes are usually used to direct the flow to a pool further away, which gives the water some time to cool down. Sometimes a nearby cold spring is diverted to mix with the hot water for getting it to that perfect temperature.
Well, more cars keep coming in. I guess everyone had the same idea. It is Saturday, so it's very likely we're just going to have to deal with a bunch of other folks. So I think we're going to go find another camp spot for now. And then maybe we'll swing by here tomorrow. Is that cold?
Oh, there. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, we were a little bit bummed that the springs were busy, but it was to be expected with these being so easily accessible for the weekend soakers from the nearby towns. But we've got a long list of other options that are a little more out of the way during this trip, so we're looking forward to some of the other opportunities along our route. And so, we headed for the source of all this volcanic activity, a small cinder cone rising out of the ground with some camping spots along its base. But even this was occupied by some graceful resident.
Whew. All right, well, that camping spot was also occupied by an eagle. I've camped there before. Last time it was dead of winter though, and obviously no nesting action. There is a big one. What was that, about a 6 foot plus wingspan? Huge eagle. And so we're like, well, we don't want to disturb her. We don't want Abigail to become a meal or Ace. So we're gonna stay over here and have a little camp without getting in anybody's way. Maybe in the morning we can go get some telephoto lenses out and get a shot of her. All right, let's get camp set up.
I'm pretty hungry. Are you pretty hungry?
I'm starving.
Okay.
After moving off a respectable distance from the eagle nest, Sarah whipped up a quick and easy meal of spaghetti, and we retreated to the warm trailer cabin as the icy breeze made sitting outside far too miserable.
Well, a little later finish, a little colder finish, but we're here. You want to explain our camp hack for garlic toast?
Dots, Parmesan garlic, pretzels.
It's pretty spectacular.
It's pretty good. So you take a bite of spaghetti, get you a pretzel. A wishes.
Yeah, wishes. Who's that? Hey, I heard a rumor.
What?
Our presses are back in stock.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Both presses, including the Overlander.
And some new stuff.
And some new stuff. What?
The next morning, I dug out my telephoto lens and we checked in on what looks to be a mama golden eagle. As it turns out, she had been sitting tight on those eggs all along, and it was Daddy Eagle who was soaring over our heads the night before. Though to be fair, there's still enough heat coming off this volcano that she could probably leave those eggs without too much fear, since there are heat vents scattered across its top, which I discovered on a previous trip. next morning, we backtracked to the hot springs, but the Sunday morning soakers had pretty much staked their claim. So with the wind forecast looking quite dramatic with 60-mile-per-hour gusts bearing down on us, we decided to devote the day to hunting a sheltered camp instead. And I'm glad to say that our poor luck was about to change.
It's the coldest hand that run down this land where the ocean lands. It's the tallest sound, the damn smallest crowd, but their hearts break loud. Far from ever feeling lost with me, I'll push you back towards the land and sea. They're going down for love, and love is free. Stick with me and I will guarantee you'll never lost alone in the crowd with me. Never lost alone in the crowd with me.
Man, I was not expecting this. This is crazy. This is gorgeous. The West Desert is so good though for just gentle, easy to drive roads with very, very cool canyons and stuff just scattered throughout its entire area. So we're enjoying the heck out of this. Excuse me.
Sorry, there's no room for you.
Just a few miles down the trail, we found exactly what we were looking for. A proverbial fortress of solitude with high canyon walls that would knock off the worst of the winds. But shelter wasn't all this canyon offered. As we hiked further in, we found that someone else had beat us to the idea many years ago, except they loved it so much that they decided to stay. That person was Bob Stinson, a World War I veteran who returned home from war only to find that the woman he loved had already married someone else. As the story goes, this jilted lover then left his hometown in Iowa and set out to visit his brother in the Wild West. But fate had other plans. As he made his way through the pass, his homemade house on wheels broke down, and while searching for shelter, Bob found a small natural cave in these canyon walls. Using the plentiful nearby stone, he walled in the entrance and created what would become known as the Hermit's Cave House. Bob became known as the Hermit of Margin Pass and lived simply while he trapped animals, grew a garden, and raised a few sheep while doing odd jobs for the BLM, like keeping the pass clear, which at the time was actually a major route into Nevada, and spraying for grasshopper plagues of all things. Legends say that when visitors stumbled upon his outpost, Bob would often welcome them with a kind word and a glass of his homemade beer. But sadly, in 1951, the highway was built further south, and Bob lost his maintenance job. So, in his 70s, he moved into Delta, Utah for a quieter life, where he eventually passed away at 80 years old. His ashes were scattered at the base of the cave he called home, so he could continue his canyon solitude in peace, with the occasional visitor to marvel at his home among the rocks.
That was so cool.
Right?
Yes.
That's, I think, probably top 5 cabins ever.
Well, it makes me wonder when it was built.
Right.
And the shelving that he had cut to fit the rock.
Uh-huh.
And then over by the window, did you notice the stone shelving?
Oh, really? I didn't catch that.
There was just one, and then maybe 2 feet up, and then another one.
Wow.
That was amazing.
After several months of running this Iceco APL 35 as a freezer during our travels, Sarah has loved being able to extend the life of our provisions by keeping the more perishable items frozen, then rotating them to the fridge in the trailer as needed. Having ice for drinks and ice cream as a snack is also a luxury we have thoroughly enjoyed on the warmer desert days. The MSA 4x4 drop slide has also been flawless for making it easy for her to peek inside without crawling into the bed of the truck, which is a big win in the brownie points department on my side. As to our power issues from the Arizona adventure, I'll cover the solutions we landed on very soon.
Rainy days don't seem so wet. Stormy nights don't stay. From the moment that we met, you were worth the wait. Oh, this could be the best thing that I'll ever know. Talk for hours and never slept. Two silhouettes on the concrete steps. We watched the sun as it slowly crept from the horizon to the place we met. Oh, this could be the best thing that I'll ever know. Best thing that I'll ever know.
All right, well, while the rest of the world in the nearby region is being blasted with 55-mile-an-hour wind gusts, we've lucked out and found this very protected canyon. We're still getting some swirls, we're still getting some gusts, but nothing like what we were getting outside of the canyon. So, pro tip, if you're ever exploring the desert and the wind forecast is ugly, start looking for some canyons. Get on that topographical map. Start looking for those sharp edges and roads that go through them. That's where you want to be. Early bedtime tonight. Very little sleep last night. Hopefully Abigail gets a nice rest and we all get a good reset. So I'll see you on the flip side.
Here we go, night night. And you say night night. Say night night. Night night. You ready to eat? Homemade muffins?
Made those at home.
If you're wondering where our other child is, she's hit this phase where sleep is her thing. So the days that she gets to sleep in, she takes advantage of it. Doing some research on the weather though, we've got snow inbound. That wasn't in the forecast yesterday. So we're trying to decide if we want to sit it out here or maybe just go push back to the hot spring and see what happens. Decisions. Got some fresh coffee to think it over with. After some deliberation over coffee, we decided that while sitting in this peaceful canyon that was once home to Bob the Hermit sounded lovely, especially on a lazy Sunday, our desire to give the hot springs one more try before rolling west won out. And so, we packed up to continue the adventure. And I'm so glad we did. We're not ones to be like woo-woo, but you travel enough out here, you stay enough out here, you start to get vibes from certain campsites and stuff. Some of them are like, move on. Some of them just have this inexplicable spirit of peace about it. And I think his hospitality definitely gave this canyon some good juju, if you want to call it that. It's just, it's interesting to hear the stories, and probably before him, there were some natives that lived in this canyon too. There's just something peaceful about them. We love them.
Ready to roll?
Ready, buddy?
And so you see what I've been telling you. It's nothing like it seems. It's what I've been telling you. Oh
you'd learn what I mean if you can't. But the risk, are you willing to take?
Alright, quick stop for sanity and lunch. Get Abigail out. I don't know if you recognize this spot because it looks totally different. And you probably can't hear me now anyhow, but this was one beautiful camp a few seasons ago. As you can see out there, the wind is whipping. There you go.
Get you out of the wind and out of that car seat. Here's some bread. Let's see, where's that peanut butter? Way back here. Yummy.
Yeah. All right, quick little lunch. Boy, that wind is getting rough out there. So we're gonna go drive around for a bit during the worst of it. But on the way, I want to talk a little bit about the setup right here. I've not really covered it in any video yet. So on this dash, we have the Victory 4x4 mounting plate, and I've connected a bunch of different stuff. For starters, the camera mount, which is a Manfrotto base that I just drilled through and mounted, allows me to do some dash cam, you know, driving down the road, just reach over, click something on if a deer crosses the road or something like that. And this is my new favorite addition. So we've gone to quad lock instead of ram mounts. You know, we used to be a big fan of the ram mounts, but you always had to like have two hands to undo the X grips, and these are magnetic. But this is also a charging head. I don't have this one plugged in right now because I need to add some ports. But what we've got on this side is just wireless charging. So I can quickly pull this off, check something, and slap it right back on. Is charging again. The reason we went with this is because we travel off-road so much that where the cable goes into the bottom of the phone, we would actually destroy the charging jack and eventually just, you know, destroy the phone. And so going to a wireless charge has made all the difference in the world. Now for arms, this is again another quad lock here. I'll go ahead and stop. This is their traditional style, so it's a twist and lock. And I've got a damper here so we don't get a ton of vibration carried over to the screen. And then these are all arms from Small Rig. So these are about 12 to 14 bucks a pop, as opposed to going with something like a ram mount where you've got to build other pieces and whatnot. And these are a 1/4 so they screw straight into the Victory 4x4 plate. And then all we did was find an adapter that goes from these wireless charging heads to that 1/4 bolt. And man, you want to talk about just simple, easy, and honestly more stable than the ram mount stuff we've used in the past. I'm geeking out over this stuff. I'm not sponsored by Quad Lock, but I probably should reach out to them because it's really ingenious. I've enjoyed the heck out of this change.
All right, folks, welcome to the ghost town of Joy, Utah. Now, so far, there's hardly any remains to even tell you that there was a town here, but there is one gravesite by a 19-year-old boy named Matt Evans, who, as legend has it, was kicked out of a bar in the middle of the winter and froze to death. And so he's pretty much all that remains. There is another figure from Utah's history by the name of No Nose Maggie. And apparently she ran a bar of ill repute, and during an altercation in said bar lost her nose. And she was actually one of the last inhabitants of this ghost town. She passed away in 1934, but she was kind of the last one to leave this ghost town. Looking at this place now, you just never would have imagined that there were families and miners and just all kinds of bustling activity. The wilderness has a way of reclaiming itself way faster than you imagine. Now, the story of Matt Evans getting kicked out of a bar and No Nose Maggie running a bar of ill repute. I wonder if they knew each other. Like a lot of these stories, though, no one knows, especially Maggie. In addition to the hot springs, beautiful landscapes, and ghost towns of the West Desert, there are also plentiful mines dotting the mountainsides, many with structures still standing and equipment left where it stopped nearly a century ago. While we rarely enter abandoned mines for the obvious safety reasons, this shaft looked more like a cave than a mine, and the many footprints indicated that it had been explored fairly often. So, I carefully eased my way inside. From my research, this particular mine was for manganese, but all the mines in this area had a mix of primary commodities consisting of gold, silver, copper, zinc, and bismuth as well. It's crazy to think that this shaft was once bustling with miners digging and hauling out the rich ore until it was either played out or just no longer profitable due to the expense to operate in such a remote location. Alright, I've been studying on the satellite imagery, and there's some potential cool mining sites up here. Unpredictable trails. I'm just going to drop the trailer here, not get into a weird situation on some of these switchbacks and stuff. So let's see what we can find. With our curiosity temporarily satisfied, we headed back to the hot springs for our third attempt at a soak, and finally found it available and inviting us to relax after a long day of explorations. It's happening.
Let's do it.
You know, there are some moments that just etch into your mind and heart, and being here with my family for Abigail's first hot spring experience is one of those that will live on for us all. There's an inexplicable comfort and peace that comes from soaking in these ancient waters. We were beginning to wonder why we'd waited so long to pursue them. So tune in next time for more hot springs, ghost towns, mining history, and overland adventure travel. Until then, stay curious and remember to always leave it better than you found it. Lifestyle Overland is only possible thanks to viewers like you who support us on patreon.com. So if you'd like to get all kinds of bonus content, GPS coordinates, and direct access to us, then head to lso.link/support or search for us on Patreon. Patrons, from the bottom of our heart, thank you for everything you do to keep this adventure going.